Nehemiah was a Jewish man who worked for the king of Persia. One day he heard how the people of Judah were suffering. He was shocked to find out that the walls were still in ruins. He started to cry and became depressed, which lasted for days. The king of Persia noticed this and asked him about it. So Nehemiah told him about the Jewish people and how the walls of Jerusalem were in ruins. The king said, "What can I do to help? Allow me to go and rebuild the walls of Jerusalem." Go, and I'll give you letters for safe travel. When Nehemiah first got there, he didn't tell the people why he had come. Instead, he surveyed the situation for about 3 days. Then he called the leaders of the people in and told them that the king of Persia had allowed him to come here to rebuild the walls. He says, "We have lived with this disgrace long enough. It's time we rebuild the walls." The leaders agreed and dedicated themselves to this project. It was decided that each leader would take a section of the wall, and that would become their personal responsibility. So they organized their families and got started building the walls. The non-Jews that lived in that area were shocked when they saw what was happening. They started to laugh and make jokes like, "These people are too weak to build their walls." I can just see it right now. They build one little section and then it just falls over when a little fox jumps on top of it. But the people were determined and they worked even harder. Soon, half the walls were done, and they started to connect the various sections. This made their enemies furious. They realized they needed to do something to stop this project. They started to say that they were going to sneak up and kill the workers. They say, "We'll do whatever we have to do to stop this project." This struck fear in the hearts of the workers. And they organized guards that watched day and night. Nehemiah met with them and said, "God is stronger than your enemies, but be prepared to fight. Fight for your fellow Jews. Fight for your sons and daughters. Fight for your wives and your homes." The people set up an alarm system. So if in case the enemies attacked one section of the wall, men from the other sections could go and help. Soon the walls were done, but the gates still needed work. The enemies of the people realized to stop this project, what they had to do was kill Nehemiah. But to do that, they had to get him away from the city. So they sent him a message and said, "Let's have a meeting in this little town over here, this little village." Nehemiah said, "I'm doing a good work here. Why should I stop this just so I can go and talk?" So he refused to go. The people begged him, but he still refused. Finally they said, "Everyone's saying that you're building these walls so that you can rebel against Persia and become king yourself. If you don't come meet with us, we'll go and tell the king of Persia about your rebellion." Nehemiah ignored them and ignored their threats and kept building till finally the walls and the gates of Jerusalem were done. The entire project took 52 days. And finally, the city was protected. Oh. The people rejoiced and sang to the Lord. Ezra came and he read the laws of Moses so that all the people could hear. The people dedicated themselves and committed themselves to obey the laws of God. Some of the people who lived in the villages around about realized that they needed to move into Jerusalem. So they decided that 1 out of every 10 families should move to Jerusalem behind the walls. God had blessed Israel, and even their enemies were amazed.